When she realizes you're no longer interested, modern stoic. Love is not about possession. Love is about appreciation. Osho. When you stop pursuing her, everything changes. Her world, once centered around your attention, suddenly feels out of balance. The power she once held shifts, and she begins to recognize the value of what she had, but only after it's no longer within reach. This realization is a powerful moment, as she confronts the absence you've created and the space you've left behind. This is the moment when the game shifts. It's not about manipulation or control, but about choosing yourself. You've prioritized your own well-being, your growth, and your peace of mind, which ultimately leads to a deeper understanding of who you truly are as a man. By stepping back, you don't just change the dynamic of your relationship with her, you change your relationship with yourself. And in doing so, you'll start seeing women, relationships, and yourself in a whole new light. This is the truth that many won't tell you, but it's one that has the power to transform your perspective entirely. The strength lies in knowing your worth without seeking validation from anyone else. Are you ready to understand what really happens when you prioritize yourself and let her feel the weight of your absence? Stay with me. This will change the way you see women, relationships, and yourself as a man. Number 1. The shift in dynamics. The moment you stop chasing, everything changes, and she will feel it, though not in the way you might expect. It's not just the physical absence of your presence, it's the absence of her control over you. In modern relationships, there exists a delicate dance of power and control, and when you make the bold choice to stop seeking her validation and start prioritizing your own self, respect, the entire dynamic shifts. You, as a man, suddenly move from being the one who seeks her approval to being the one who stands firm in his own identity, a man who is unbothered by her attention, her actions, or her feelings. Women, by nature, are tuned into this shift. They feel it, though they may not always articulate it directly. The moment you stop chasing her, you force her to confront the reality of her position in your life. This is where the power of the modern Stoic philosophy comes in. When you stop seeking external validation, when you decide that your own sense of self-worth is non-negotiable, you unleash a quiet yet profound transformation in the dynamics of your relationships. It's a shift that doesn't just change how she sees you, but how you see yourself. This, my friend, is the blessing of Stoicism in action. The ability to control your own destiny, to move through the world with purpose, and to stop letting external factors dictate your happiness or your self-respect. You must understand that this shift is not just a temporary change, nor is it about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. It's about making a fundamental shift in how you view yourself and what you expect from your relationships. In a world that is flooded with constant validation, from social media to dating apps to the endless streams of attention that come from all directions, it's easy to get caught in a loop of seeking approval. Texting first, calling frequently, planning every date meticulously, and constantly trying to hold her interest. That's the cycle most men are stuck in. But what no one tells you is that the more you give, the less she values you. Women don't respect what comes too easily, what is handed to them without effort. They respect what they must work for, what feels rare, what they fear losing. This isn't just about romance or courtship. It's about human nature. People, men and women alike, are drawn to that which is scarce. And when you constantly chase, you make yourself available in abundance, making you, ironically, less valuable. You must stop playing the game of chasing. It's draining, it's exhausting, and it's unappreciated. You feel invisible, unnoticed, sometimes even unworthy, not because you are, but because you've been giving away your value to someone who doesn't need to earn it. Women are not testing you because they want to see how far you'll bend. They are testing your strength. They want to know if you're the kind of man who bends to every whim or the one who stands firm, the one who has his own boundaries and respects himself enough not to constantly chase. When you chase, you fail that test. You tell her with every action that you value her more than you value yourself. But here's the real magic. When you stop chasing, when you pull back and shift your focus back to yourself, everything changes. Initially, she may not even notice. She may continue on, doing her own thing, assuming you'll keep up the chase. But as time passes, she will begin to feel it. It's not just that you're physically absent. She will start to feel your absence in a deeper, psychological sense. That shift, that subtle yet powerful change in energy, becomes noticeable. She begins to ask herself, what happened? Why isn't he chasing me anymore? That right there is where the true power shift happens. Women crave mystery. They're drawn to the unknown, to the challenge. The moment you become predictable, the intrigue fades. And that's where many men go wrong. They believe that constant availability will keep her interested. But it has the opposite effect. When you create space, when you pull back and focus on yourself, you suddenly become a mystery again. She starts replaying old conversations, rereading your messages, wondering what's changed. This isn't manipulation, it's balance. You're not being cruel or playing games. You're simply restoring a dynamic of mutual respect. You're taking back control of your life and not allowing her or anyone else to define your worth. In today's world, relationships are often entangled with superficial validation. From the endless stream of social media likes and comments to the instant gratification of dating apps and DMs, the world is filled with external validation. But none of that matters in the grand scheme of things. What matters is how you walk through the world, the energy you radiate, and the respect you command from others. Women don't respond to the man who needs validation from them. They respond to the man who doesn't need it. The modern Stoic understands this deeply. He has learned that his worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. When you stop chasing, you no longer become just another name in her inbox. You become the one who got away. You are the man who stands out, the one she can't easily replace. And while women may crave certainty, they're also addicted to uncertainty. When you pull back, you create that uncertainty, and suddenly she starts questioning herself, her behavior, and her decisions. What changed? Why isn't he the same? That's when the real magic happens, when she starts to put in the effort. But let's be clear, pulling back isn't about punishing her or playing some elaborate game. It's about respecting yourself. It's about knowing that your worth is not tied to her attention or approval. The modern Stoic man understands this truth. He knows that by focusing on his own growth and his own purpose, he is automatically more attractive, not because he's trying to manipulate her, but because he's focused on becoming the best version of himself. So what does pulling back look like in practice? It's not about pretending to be uninterested. It's about genuinely focusing on yourself, building your body in the gym, pursuing your passions, starting a business, learning a new skill, or simply growing in your own life. The moment you stop chasing her is the moment you begin to attract her again. But this time, you attract her from a place of strength, not desperation. If you're always chasing, constantly texting and calling, you're telling her she's your world. But women don't want to be your world. They want to join a man who already has his own world. And when you stop chasing, she begins to question, did I take him for granted? Is he seeing someone else? That's when the dynamic shifts. She's no longer the one receiving all the attention. She's the one who must earn it. And that's when the power truly flips in your favour. Pulling back is not about punishment. It's about self-respect. When you embrace the modern Stoic mindset, you realise that your worth is not tied to her actions or attention. You are enough on your own. You must focus on building a life that excites you, a life that gives you purpose and direction. That's when the blessing of Stoicism truly shows its power. When you stop chasing, you stop being reactive and start being proactive in your own life. You take the reins of your destiny. You lead, and you do it with strength, clarity, and self-respect. The moment you stop chasing her is the moment you start commanding the respect you've always deserved. And trust me, when you shift the dynamic, when you stop allowing her to dictate the rhythm of your life, everything changes. The power balance will shift, and she'll begin to see you in a completely new light. Now you lead and she follows. And that, my friend, is where the real game begins. Number 2. her emotional reactions. When you pull back, her emotional world changes. Even if she doesn't show it outwardly, she feels it deeply. Women, by their very nature, are keenly attuned to emotional shifts, whether in their own hearts or in the energy of those around them. When you stop chasing her, when you begin to focus more on yourself, her sense of control over the situation is shaken. The absence of your usual attention creates a void that she cannot ignore. And while she might act as if she's unaffected, the truth is that the effects are immediate and very real. This is where Stoicism becomes a key player. The Stoic lessons teach us to maintain control over our own actions and reactions, to remain steady in the face of chaos. When you stop chasing, you are, in essence, applying these very principles. You don't react impulsively. You don't let the situation control your emotional state. You simply observe and act with calm and purpose. The first emotional shift she experiences is confusion. Why aren't you checking in anymore? She wonders. Why did you stop? Was I too much? These questions swirl around in her mind, and as much as she might try to hide it, they create a deep sense of unrest within her. When you no longer respond to her every whim, the natural reaction is for her to question herself and her actions. The Stoic life teaches us that often the best response is no response at all, and this is where you, as a modern Stoic, start to take control. You must be unmoved by her confusion. Her uncertainty is not your responsibility to resolve. You've shifted your focus back to yourself, and that's where it needs to stay. This initial confusion soon morphs into curiosity. Did I push him away? Was I too cold or distant? She reflects, analysing everything she's done and said, trying to piece together why the dynamic has changed. This introspection is the beginning of her emotional unravelling, and it's crucial that you, as a Stoic, stay calm and unmoved. As she starts to question herself, the Stoic man does not chase her back with answers. He knows that actions speak louder than words. Her internal journey is her responsibility, not yours. Then comes fear, the fear of losing you. This fear is powerful, and it often triggers an intense emotional response. She realizes that the man she may have once taken for granted is no longer giving her the same attention, and that fear of loss drives her into action. This is where you must remain steadfast. When she feels the sting of your absence, she might begin to act. She might reach out subtly, asking, "How have you been?" in a way that's not entirely genuine, hoping to gauge your interest. Some women might even post social media updates, hoping you'll take the bait. Stories, selfies, cryptic quotes, these are all signals, all tests to see if you'll react, if you'll give her the attention she fears losing. But here's the key. If you react, you lose. If you fall for the bait, if you chase her once more, you're back in the game, playing by her rules. And that's a game you do not want to play. The Stoic life is about maintaining your inner peace, and reacting impulsively disrupts that peace. You must not be swayed by her attempts to regain control. Stay calm. Stay composed. Let her make the next move, because this time you're not in the position of need, you've reclaimed your power, and with it, your emotional stability. The most honest and genuine response to her fear of losing you is effort. On her part, not yours. When a woman fears she's losing a rare man, she will try harder. The Stoic man understands this dynamic and uses it to his advantage. As she starts texting more, calling more, even changing her appearance to attract your attention, you simply continue on your path, unwavering in your commitment to yourself and your own growth. Scarcity increases value. When you become less available, when your time is no longer easily given away, your value in her eyes rises exponentially. Women are drawn to what they cannot have in abundance. They respect what feels rare, what feels hard to attain. This principle aligns directly with Stoicism. By pulling back and focusing on yourself, you embody the Stoic lessons of self, reliance, and emotional control. When you stop chasing her, you send a message that you are a man of purpose, a man who doesn't need external validation to feel complete. This is the power of Stoicism in relationships. You don't get swept up in emotional turbulence. You don't let others dictate your emotional state. You remain calm, centered, and in control. You understand that value is not built by constant availability or attention. It is built by maintaining a sense of self, worth that is independent of others' perceptions. The reality is that when you pull back, her emotional world begins to shift in ways that she cannot control. But you, as a modern Stoic, know how to stay composed and unfazed. Her confusion, curiosity, and fear are simply part of the process, emotional reactions that will eventually lead to her putting in the effort. This shift in dynamics is not about manipulation, it's about aligning with the natural flow of power and respect. The more she feels the absence of your attention, the more she will begin to appreciate the value you bring into her life. And when you stay calm, composed, and unmoved by her attempts to regain control, you win. You must remember, the power is in your hands. As a Stoic, you know that true power comes from within. When you maintain your inner peace, when you stop seeking validation, that's when you become truly irresistible. And the more you embody this Stoic life, the more she will realize that the man she's now chasing is the man she's always wanted. If you're ready to embrace your power and stand firm like a true modern Stoic, drop a comment right now. I control my emotions. I don't react. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remember, your silence is not weakness, it's strength. Number 3. Staying composed. Staying composed is the ultimate display of strength. It is the highest form of self-mastery, and it's exactly what separates the men who lead from those who follow. Women test you, not to hurt you, but to see what you're made of. They push boundaries, stir emotions, and throw challenges your way to gauge your reaction. And if you react emotionally, you fail. You've already lost the battle. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you stay calm, when you remain composed and indifferent, you send a message stronger than any words could express. You are not swayed by her or anyone else. You are the man who leads, not the one who chases. Your composure becomes your weapon. Imagine this. She tests you. She's emotional, throwing her feelings, her doubts, her insecurities into the mix, trying to provoke a reaction. Most men panic in these moments. They defend, they react, they become entangled in the chaos, but not you. You stay calm, you stay composed, you remain measured, you understand that your emotional state is your own responsibility. You do not allow anyone, especially her, to dictate your peace of mind. And this, my friend, is where true power lies. That composure is not just a temporary tactic, it's your lifestyle, it's who you are. When you maintain your calm, you become the man she respects. She doesn't just see a man, she sees a leader, a force of nature who cannot be shaken by external circumstances. You must internalize this truth. You don't need to chase, you lead. Staying composed is not limited to your interactions with her. It applies to every aspect of your life, your career, your goals, your setbacks. They are all tests of your ability to maintain composure. It is the foundation of the Stoic principles, which emphasize focusing on what you can control, letting go of what you cannot. Do not let emotions dictate your actions. Instead, practice staying grounded, no matter what chaos surrounds you. The modern world bombards us with distractions, setbacks, and emotional triggers, but you must remain rooted. Composure isn't a strategy, it's a way of life. It's how you handle the highs and lows, the good days and the bad. Life will throw challenges your way, but if you hold yourself steady, you become unshakable. Next time she pulls away or tests your resolve, don't react. Don't give in to the temptation to chase, to try and fix things immediately. Instead, stay on your path. Stay grounded in your own purpose. Don't allow her withdrawal to disrupt your focus. This is your test. The Stoic man understands that emotional reactions only give away your power. By staying composed, you make it clear that your value is not tied to her attention. When you stop chasing, when you stop reacting, that's when she will start to chase you. The power dynamic shifts in your favor. She will begin to feel the absence of your attention, and in turn she will want it back. This is not manipulation, it's understanding the law of attraction. The more composed you remain, the more your value increases in her eyes. When you lead your own life, focus on your own growth, and stay steady, you will naturally draw people toward you, especially her. Remember this: composure is power. When you apply Stoic principles to your life, by staying calm, focused, and in control of your emotions, you unlock a level of influence and respect that most men never achieve. As Marcus Aurelius said, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do. This is the essence of Stoicism. Stay true to your own path. Keep your focus on your goals. Do not be moved by temporary distractions or emotional upheavals. Instead, act with calm and purpose, and watch how the world responds. You must internalize this truth. Your calm is your greatest asset. When you embody composure in every area of life, you rise above the noise, and it's in this stillness that true power is found. When she realizes you're no longer interested in chasing her, when she sees you remain unfazed by her emotional swings, that's when she will feel the change. That's when she will come back and she will chase you. Stay calm, stay composed, and let the power of your presence do the talking. You are the man who leads, never the man who chases. Number 4, how to handle the shift. When she starts chasing, most men falter. They panic, slip back into old habits, and begin chasing her again, believing that winning is about her coming back. But here's the real secret. Winning isn't about getting her back at all. It's about maintaining control, staying grounded, and not allowing her emotional shifts to dictate your actions. This is where the power of the modern Stoic comes in. The modern Stoic knows that his emotional state is his own to control, and that no external factor, no matter how tempting or emotionally charged, should dictate how he feels or what he does. This is the blessing of Stoicism, the ability to rise above emotional turbulence and act from a place of clarity and strength. Don't let her emotional games pull you off course. Stay focused on your path, remain unwavering in your purpose, and above all, don't fall back into old patterns. The key to navigating this shift is to assess the situation with clarity. Ask yourself the tough questions. Is her effort real? Has she truly changed? Or is she just reacting out of fear? This is where your understanding of Stoic principles comes into play. The old Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, taught us that our thoughts and emotions must be guided by reason, not by reaction. When you find yourself faced with this dynamic, take a step back and evaluate the change with clear eyes. Don't be swayed by temporary shifts or emotional pleas. She might be acting out of fear of losing you, and this fear may not equate to real change. The modern Stoic understands this deeply. Fear is fleeting, and emotions are not always rooted in truth. Don't fall for the illusion that everything is fine just because she's making an effort. The effort might be based more on the fear of loss than on any genuine desire to improve the relationship. If she is truly worth it, if the effort she is putting forth is genuine, then rebuild the relationship on a foundation of mutual respect and shared effort. But make no mistake, you must be clear on your standards. Don't settle for less than what you deserve, and don't let temporary changes fool you into thinking things have shifted for the better if they haven't. It's easy to get swept up in the hope that things will change when you see signs of her coming back. But this can often be a trap. You must be able to walk away, not with bitterness, but with clarity. If the dynamic hasn't really changed, if she hasn't truly shown the growth or effort that is required, then walking away is not only your right, it's your responsibility. Walking away shows strength. It proves that your life is already full, and that you don't need anyone to complete you. You are whole on your own. You choose her, not because you need her, but because she aligns with the standards you've set for yourself. The power here lies in detachment, not from emotions, but from the need for external validation. When you walk away, you demonstrate that your self-worth doesn't depend on her. It doesn't depend on anyone. You've mastered the Stoic art of choosing your own path, of valuing yourself enough to walk away when the situation no longer serves your purpose. Don't chase. Be the man who leads. Yourself, respect, and self-worth are non-negotiable. That's power. You lead your life by your standards. And if she aligns with those standards, then she is welcome to walk with you. But if she doesn't, you walk away without regret or bitterness. The old Stoics would call this living in accordance with nature, the ability to recognize what is within your control and to detach from what is not. When you live a Stoic life, you understand that nothing outside of you can truly affect your peace of mind unless you let it. You must control your reactions. Embrace the modern Stoic principles of clarity, detachment, and emotional regulation, and you will become the man who stands out. When you embrace focused detachment, you rise above the emotional roller coaster that most men are stuck on. You become the calm in the storm, the leader in the chaos. When she realizes that you are no longer chasing her, that you've detached from the need for her validation, that's when the power dynamic shifts. She will either rise to meet your standards or fade away. And either way, you will remain strong, grounded, and in control. This is the way of the modern Stoic lessons from the past, applied to the present, to help you navigate the complexities of modern relationships with strength, clarity, and unshakable purpose. And this, my friend, is the true definition of power. It's not about getting her back. It's about knowing your worth, maintaining your boundaries, and choosing only what aligns with your highest values. This is when you become the man she respects and ultimately the man she chases. Because real power comes from within. And when you stop chasing, that's when everything changes. You lead and she follows. Number 5. The power of focused detachment. This is your ultimate weapon, focused detachment. It is the pinnacle of emotional control and a key tenet of the Stoic life. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care deeply, but you don't lose yourself in someone else's actions or emotions. It means living for yourself, not for external validation. The Stoic lessons teach us that our worth is not tied to anyone else's approval. You must learn to detach with purpose. Focused detachment is not coldness. It's not indifference. It's a grounded strength. It says, I am enough, and I don't need her attention to feel whole. When you master this, you no longer chase approval. You offer love from a place of power, not desperation. This is where you separate yourself from the crowd of men who constantly seek validation. Think about it. You're not chasing her, nor are you clinging to her presence. You are emotionally steady, unmoved by the ebb and flow of her attention. The difference is subtle, but profound. Focused detachment is a declaration. I will not lose myself for anyone. You live for yourself, not to please or win someone else's affection. You give from a place of strength, not weakness. You're not cold, you're grounded. And when you adopt this mindset, something powerful happens. You gain control. It's the Stoic way of thinking. Control what you can, and detach from the things you cannot. In relationships, this means stepping away from the emotional volatility that often characterizes unhealthy dynamics. You don't need her to validate your worth. You don't need her to complete you. You are already complete. This detachment applies not only to relationships, but to everything that doesn't serve your purpose. It applies to bad relationships, dead, end jobs, toxic habits, and draining environments. Walk away from anything that doesn't align with your mission. The key to this is understanding that your time, energy, and emotional focus are valuable. Do not waste them on things or people that do not contribute to your growth. It's not about cutting people off for the sake of it. It's about being mindful and intentional about who and what you allow in your life. The Stoic principles emphasize the importance of living with purpose, and this focused detachment is central to maintaining that focus. Don't let distractions, toxic connections, or shallow approval seeking pull you off course. Stay rooted in your mission. Here's the truth. Your power is not in chasing, it's in walking away. When you stop chasing, when you make it clear that your value is not dependent on her attention, you instantly shift the dynamic. It's counterintuitive, but it works. When you detach with purpose, when you live for yourself, you no longer need to seek validation from others. This is when you begin to stand out. You become the man who is respected, not because you demand respect, but because you refuse to lower your standards. You refuse to beg for attention or validation. You are the man who commands respect by simply being who you are. This shift in mindset is powerful and transformative. It makes you the man she respects, the man who doesn't need her to feel validated. It makes you the man she chases. The Stoic life isn't about avoiding connections or emotions. It's about having the strength to detach when necessary, to stay grounded in your own purpose, and to make decisions based on your mission, not your fleeting emotional impulses. Focused detachment is your key to self-mastery. It is your superpower, and once you master it, you will find that the things you once chased are now chasing you. The relationships you once struggled to maintain will now find balance because you've learned to stand firm. When you live by the principles of Stoicism, when you live for yourself and not for the validation of others, you become the embodiment of strength and purpose. And that's when the dynamic shifts in your favor. If this resonates with you, type "I'm done chasing" in the comments. Subscribe for more insights on how to master your life, demand respect, and live life on your own terms. Let's build a community of men who refuse to settle, who understand their worth, and who live by the Stoic principles that lead to true freedom. Don't chase, lead. That is the way of the Stoic. Thanks for watching, my friend. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with anyone who could benefit from these insights, and subscribe for more powerful content on mastering your life with Stoic principles. We're building a community here, and you don't want to miss out on the next step of your journey towards personal growth and self-mastery. Now, I want to hear from you. If something in this video resonated with you, or if you've got thoughts or questions about the content, drop a comment below. Whether it's feedback, personal experiences, or something you'd like to dive deeper into, feel free to express your thoughts. This is your space to share and discuss. Remember, the power of Stoicism isn't just in learning, it's in reflecting and applying it to your life. So let's start that conversation. Stay focused, stay true to yourself, and never settle for less than you deserve. You've got this. Until next time, keep leading with strength and confidence.